Okay, so we are recording. And welcome to the 4-H Club Leader Training. I'm Carla Hightower, as I said, Marais District 4-H Youth Development Agent. And since this is the first training of the new 4-H year, and several of you haven't been on before, I just want to let you know I host a training on Zoom 4 times a year to help guide our district 4-H leaders and let you ask questions of me and your fellow leaders. During these training sessions, I will talk about upcoming events, information you need to know, and give you short lessons to help you manage your club. So, so let's get started. And if at any time you have a question, please unmute yourself and ask or type it in the chat. And I will try to make sure that I look at the chat. So. All right, so here is our agenda for tonight. We're going to talk about enrollment, 4-H presentation day, senior scholarships and a scholarship committee. We have the 4-H Thrive model, understanding Sparks, incident report form, a Kansas 4-H club requirements, fundraising approvals, and 2024 leader training dates. So you can get those on your calendar, as well as a couple of other things that I think I added after I had done this agenda. So, and if anytime, like I said, if you have questions, just feel free to jump in and ask them. So starting with enrollment, it's kind of all the same, but like I said, there's some new leaders on here. So January 15th, all returning 4-H members must be enrolled in 4-H Online by that date. There is basically no wiggle room on that, and that is to show at the county fairs. So if they want to show at either county fair, they have to be there by January 15th. How you can tell in 4-H Online if someone is enrolled is they should come up as approved, or they should be payment due. If they are payment due and they are in the system right now, that probably means that the Kansas 4-H office at Manhattan hasn't received their payment yet. And I really would like to try to get those in as soon as possible. So if you have anyone from your 4-H club that is showing payment due, sometimes a credit card doesn't go through right or anything like that. So if that's the case, please go ahead and make sure to let them know that. And the newsletter is actually going to have details on what they need to do to do that. So, sorry. May 1st is all new 4-H members must be enrolled to show at the Miami County Fair, or not Miami County Fair, Lynn County Fair either, any county fair basically. And then May 1st is also the Add or Delete project deadline. Now, I know in the past we've had several 4-H families that go in and they make sure to enroll their kids, but maybe they only choose one project. And then they forget to add them by the May 1st deadline. So if you see a 4-H family, please try to help us figure that out. So if you have a 4-H family that you know is going to be in more than one and you see them in only one, let us know or let the family know so they can get that in. Some of the other things that I would say about this is to make sure that, oh, I know, sorry, I lost my train of thought. But basically, what we're going to do, you guys as club leaders can have, there's a special login and a way to log into 4-H Online where you can see your club members. You can pick up their projects, you can make reports, you can see who all your club members are, who have enrolled, who has enrolled anyway. But you have to be enrolled in 4-H Online to get that first. So we will be doing that here the 1st of December, next week, basically, working on getting those you guys permissions, because we have to go in there and change some things. So if you have not enrolled yourself in 4-H Online, please do that so we are ready to go. And we'll send you an email with a code, and I'll send you instructions as well on how to access that for your clubs. So, any questions on enrollment? Okay. 4-H Presentation Day. So we have set the date for 4-H Presentation Day, formerly called Club Days. It is February 22nd in 2025 at Prairie View Middle School. Your registration is probably going to be due about January 24th. That way we have plenty of time between when we get kind of the numbers of what we have, and then we will actually do a schedule, and you can sign up for that schedule after that. So that's kind of where we're at on that. Information should be coming out probably the end of December or the 1st of January for that in our registration as well. We are doing some updates to, as a regional day committee, we're doing some updates to our guide and rules. I don't think there's not major changes as far as I know, although we're meeting next week to talk about that, and we'll get those out as soon as we can. But it'll be a little bit different than that. So be sure to kind of see. And for those of you who don't know what presentation day is basically where you can do club activities, groups, or you can do individuals, and it can be there's a whole bunch of different public speaking, speech categories you can participate in. You can do impromptu speeches where you actually don't have to prep, but you have like 5 minutes to prep right before you give the speech. We have model meetings and gavel games for clubs to participate in. We also have instrumental and piano solos, vocal, and group as well on all of those. Not piano, but instrumental and vocal can be group as well. We have skits, plays, acting, dance, all of those things. So be sure to look at it. We actually have on our website, it's under its own little column, and it's all about presentation day. And so you can kind of see what we had from last year. But like I said, we will be updating those and hopefully get those up to date in the next week or two on that. Okay, so senior scholarships. The scholarship letter was mailed to all graduating 12th grade students that was in 4-H last year. They have to be in 4-H for at least 3 years to qualify for our scholarships. Our scholarships can actually go to trade schools, or they don't have to just be colleges, trade schools, military, those type of things as well. They're due January 13th. And like I said, they were emailed and mailed out November 25th. They're also on our website as of, I believe, today. So if you have some club members in there, encourage them to fill out the scholarships. If they have any questions, let us know. It's all about 4-H and involvement. So it's not, and we take in grades, but we don't really take in grades. It's all about what they've done in 4-H. And I'm sorry that my light just went off, but that's okay. So it's just those type of things. And they will, the other thing that I do need to say about this is we will also be needing parents to serve on what Miami County calls the Trips and Awards Committee, but Lynn County 4-H Council will have one too, which is the Scholarship Review Committee. And basically we get together, you do it online, but then we get together either via Zoom or in person and talk about the scholarships and decide how much or who gets what scholarships, because we do have some endowed scholarships that we have to give out. The one thing is, most years, if you apply, you're going to get something. So I'm not going to say it's going to be, it depends on how many we have apply and the money, but you usually do get something for your trouble on that. So encourage our seniors to apply for that. Right now, we only get about 50% of our seniors to apply. We'd like that to be a little bit higher, so encourage them to do that. Okay, any questions so far on what I went over so far before I start on the Thrive model? Okay, well, so 4-H is all about positive youth development. And I want to give you kind of a background of positive youth development. And then Kansas is really working on 4-H Thrive model and making sure that our programs are quality programs that are helping our youth thrive. So positive youth development came into focus in the early 1990s as society struggled to address risk behaviors in teens. Among the earliest leaders in positive youth development is Karen Pittman. Using research from the Search Institute and others, Pittman began the paradigm shift from fixing behaviors to building and nurturing assets and skills. The positive youth development approach recognizes that all young people have interests, abilities, and strengths, and when engaged in the context of supportive adults, youth voice, and other program quality standards, can grow and thrive, having a positive impact on the whole child. Positive youth development research continues with the most recent 4-H Thriving model developed by Dr. Marais Arnold to provide a framework for understanding the processes that drives outcomes and translates the theory into positive youth development practices. The foundation of the 4-H Thriving model is the developmental context of SPARKS, program quality principles with a focus on belonging and developmental relationships. Youth programs that incorporate these elements into the program delivery set the stage for youth growing, learning, and thriving. And so you as 4-H leaders, you're kind of setting that stage, the dirt, as we call it in our flower model for the 4-H Thrive. It's what we do at the county level. It's what I do as my job. I'm trying to provide those sparks, a sense of belonging, making sure they're doing they have positive relationships with other youth, with adults, and making sure that they are engaged as well. So today we're going to talk a little bit about sparks. So when we say youth sparks, what do you feel is a spark for youth? Or how would you define it?
This is Lisa Marais. I would say seeing their eyes light up after completing a project.
Yes. Anyone else have what comes to your mind when we say youth sparks? New discoveries? Yes. Anyone else? Okay. The feeling they get when they find their confidence. Yeah. So sparks can be many different things. It's basically what excites you, what you know, what makes you, gives you joy, brings the feeling of content, many of those things. So that is kind of what we're talking about with sparks. So sparks is something that is internal to each of us and gives us meaning or joy. It can mean many different things. It can be a project that a 4-H'er takes during, and does during the year and then takes to fair. It could be something as simple as our 4-H entrepreneur program that we've been doing. And I know that is a spark for a couple of the kids that are in there because I've seen them all of a sudden go from a shy kid that doesn't really talk to being passionate about what they're doing and what their business is growing. It's basically anything like that. So I want you to take a minute and you can put this in the chat or you can unmute yourself and share. But what is your spark? What gives you meaning or joy? And while you're doing that, I'm going to try to fix my light real quick. Okay. So would someone like to share what gives them joy or gives them meaning?
Seeing my kids succeed.
Okay.
I like seeing how the kids learn how to do the parliamentary procedures at the club level to learn something that's valuable to them going forward.
Okay. Thank you, Kathy. Anyone else want to share? I know one of my sparks with my job is basically seeing those kids grow and get so excited about something. Even if it's not, that first year 4-H'er that wants a ribbon of every color, I just, that I find such joy in that because it's about the process, not necessarily the product and the final. And they just want to get that recognition that they finished something. And that gives me joy. But it's also seeing all of you being on here and trying to make a difference and making sure our kids grow up and become productive members of society and have bright futures. And that's what we're doing things. So Emily says, introducing our son to new things. Awesome. Yes, those type of things bring us sparks. So one of the things as a club leader you can do is you can be a spark champion. So a spark champion are the caring adults who know and support youth in pursuit of their spark. So think about one person or people that helped you develop your sparks. What did they do? And if you want to share with that, I would appreciate some of you sharing that person or what they did. Mine is, I go back, I'm a 4-H. I've been a 4-H member as a kid. I'm a 4-H, agent obviously now. And sorry, this is, 4-H leaders have always been helped me with my sparks. I always knew I had a supportive adult in the background that was willing to teach me how to make bread at somebody's house, or a project leader, or even now I have parents and families that come up and make sure that I know that I'm doing a good job, or that they saw that I did this thing, and that's part of it. So I hope you know that I'm seeing what you're doing in your clubs too, and that you are doing a good job as well. So who else would like to share a person or people who helped you develop your spark? Okay. Well, nobody wants to share. That's fine. But think about that. And then I guess the other thing is, how can we as club leaders in 4-H, adults in 4-H, how can we make sure that our kids we're developing their sparks and making sure that we're supporting them and encouraging them to find that spark that gives them meaning and joy? So do you have any ideas on ways we can do that, or something that you found in your experience as a club leader?
This is Ashley. I would say definitely pushing them to do something out of their comfort zone. I know we have some kids in our club that are just stuck on certain things, but maybe pushing them to do something out of their norm.
Okay. Yeah, they might not know that that's a spark until they try something. Take a new project or try something new, and then they might find out that they really do like it, and it's something that gives them meaning and joy. What are some other things you can think of that would help, that you could do as a caring adult to help inspire youth to find their sparks? Well, I think it also is some things that I think of and that we've talked about in some of the trainings that I've been to, my professional development on positive youth development, is that you encourage kids. You let them try. They don't have to be perfect. The product doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay to fail. And you encourage that in them so that they are willing to do those new things and know that there aren't necessarily things. Hosting classes through 4-H helps expose members to new experiences. Yes, which can help those kids find a spark. Definitely that. Also, just making sure that they have a sense of belonging. Calling them my name, saying hello when they come into the meeting, making sure they have what they need. Those type of things as well can help us. Anyone else have anything you'd like to talk about or interject here? Okay. Well, as 4-H leaders, you can become a Spark champion for the youth in your club, county, and our district. And I'm sure most of you are already doing that. You might just not think about it. And I just wanted you to be more aware of some of the ways we do that, and also to really think about how we can help those kids find that spark. It's important that we encourage our youth to explore and find their spark. It'll help them in the long run. And of course, we'll get the gratification of actually knowing we've made a difference in somebody's life and in the kids' lives as well. So that's kind of where I'm at for that. If you have questions or need help trying to figure this out for your club, please let me know. We'll be kind of doing some more of this thriving model throughout the next few years because, like I said, Kansas 4-H is really pushing it. And I'm not necessarily pushing it because it does. It gives us the research base to know that what we're doing in our programs, in our club meetings, in our activities, and our events is actually doing what we wanted to do later in life for our youth. So, and giving them the skills they need to cope with the challenges of life. So that's kind of why we're doing this. And I appreciate you all participating in it. Wrong way. Okay. All right. So with that, I will go on to our next thing. I kind of talked about this last year, but like I said, we have a lot of new leaders. We have a KSRE incident report form, and this is for everyone. So like I would fill this out if I had something happen at one of my events. Anybody would fill this out for that. So if you have something happen at your club meetings or activities or any other 4-H event or activity, you really need to fill this out and then submit it to me. This is to be completed for any or all medical, accident, behavior, or discipline incidents while attending a KSRE experience only after the individuals involved are confirmed safe and have received assistance from qualified personnel. So, of course, if somebody's hurt, you want to make sure that you actually have them at a doctor, or if the ambulance has to come, which hopefully it won't have to, but you have to do all that first. But then it's really important that we document these cases and that you turn it in. It's not going to probably go anywhere. It just depends if it's a behavioral incident. If it's a pattern, then we'll have to take some action. You can go ahead and do some corrective action right there at the time. That's the best thing in my thoughts, that's the best thing to happen to our clubs or our members. But it probably would be a good idea to kind of jot down those notes and turn them into me just in case anything. It's the he said, she said thing that happens. So it's just a way of documenting. I keep them in a locked file. They're not, it's not for anybody else to see. And it's only if we keep having incidents or if we have to do insurance for an accident claim or something like that, we need to have these things happening so we know that. Okay. So they are in the club leader notebook that's online, and we also have them on our website as well. So if you go to our website under club leaders, at the very top should be a online version of our club leader notebook. If you want a actual physical version, paper copy, please let me know. I think we've given out our last two, but we can make some new ones. It might just take us a little bit to put those together. But there's also a digital thing that from Padlet that you can put on your phone. It's an app, and you can just save it to your phone and get it. But it'll have all these things on it, and so a lot of information that you might need as club leaders. Okay. Another thing we need to talk about is 4-H club requirements. So this comes straight from Kansas 4-H policy. And basically, to be a club leader or club, the structure is intended to be flexible, but these minimum standards must be maintained. So you have to be led or advised by 2 or more screened or board-approved adult volunteers. We are really working hard to make sure this is happening. I would encourage you all to encourage parents to go ahead and be screened. It's no cost. It is minimal time and effort. You basically have to do 3 steps. You have to enroll in 4-H online. You have to fill out an online background check, which the state just sends back to us that it's cleared. Basically, we don't see anything. It is not somebody asked the other day if it was a credit check. It is not a credit check. It is just the background check. And then you have to do a one time, and you have to do basically the last 2 you only do once. So you do the background check once, and then we can actually resubmit it every 3 years as needed, but you don't have to go back in there and fill that out again. And then the other thing you have to do is the online modules through 4-H Online, and they actually just kind of go through KSRE, Kansas 4-H, risk management, and some things you need to know as a volunteer. Those are a one-time thing. Once you've done them, you're good to go for that as well. Now, every year you do have to enroll in 4-H Online to keep your volunteer status current. So that's the other thing. If you have screened volunteers in your club, please make sure that they're actually enrolling in 4-H Online as well. You also need to enroll at least 5 youth members from at least 3 different families. Most of our clubs are doing that, but just to kind of let you know that it's important that our clubs grow too. So if you're a smaller club, you might be thinking of ways to invite new families, go into schools, try to find, have a fun day and invite the kids all bring a friend and their parents or something like that. You also want to emphasize project exploration, leadership, and civic engagement. And I will be honest, these are 4-H club, but they're also project clubs. They have the exact same minimum requirements for project clubs. You want to conduct a minimum of 6 regular educational experiences per year. Many clubs hold 9 to 12 regular activities throughout most or all of the year, and gatherings include, but are not limited to, business meetings, project meetings, service learning opportunities, other 4-H learning activities. Sorry. These can be field trips. They don't have to be, as I said, they're not limited to business meetings. Sometimes you're going to have a business meeting, but we also need to make our 4-H clubs fun and inviting to others. And so, think of every field trip you can go, the service learning or community service opportunities you can do. Even fun outings, you learn that's a sense of belonging. So those type of things can count too. You need to have democratically elected youth leaders to provide direction to the club with shared youth leadership opportunities, with shared decision-making, with agreed upon rules or bylaws, which you all have bylaws and rules. You want to keep meeting project and financial records and submit required reports. So every November 1st, you have to go through and basically do a financial report, annual review, and then submit that to me by November 1st. You want to follow state and local 4-H policy, and you want to have a 4-H charter, which all of you guys have a 4-H charter. We have that on file for you. So any questions about community clubs or project clubs and your minimum requirements? All right, the next thing is fundraising. One of the policies of Kansas 4-H is also that fundraising needs to be approved by the extension agent. And this is part of this is because I know a few years ago somebody stopped by the back when we were Miami County still, the Miami County Extension Office selling circus tickets for 4-H. And we're like, no, you're not selling them for 4-H. We are 4-H, and we had no idea it was happening. So that's kind of why they're asking that you keep me informed of what you're doing for fundraiser. It's not to say that you know, I'm not going to veto any of your fundraising. Probably the only way would be is if you're doing something that isn't appropriate for fundraiser for 4-H, but you guys aren't going to do that, so we're all good. But if you can just email me and let me know that you're having a concession stand at some event in your town, or if you are doing a garage sale or anything like that. One of the other things, if you are planning on having a raffle, there is a little bit more that we have to do for that because of some state statutes on that. It's not to say you can't do it, but there's a 1-page form that you have to fill out, and I have to get the Marais District Board to approve. They don't have a problem approving them most of the time. They've never even really questioned any of them, but I do have to take them to the board meeting and have them approved. So that'll take a little bit more time because our boards only meet on the first Monday of each month. So to kind of give you an idea, if you think about having a raffle, please let me know. I can get you that form. You can get it turned in, and you probably ought to leave about a month's leeway so we have time to get that in and get it back to you before you start your raffle. Okay. All right, save the dates. So this is our November 26th one. I can't believe I'm going to say 2025 again, but January 29th is our next club leader training or leader trainings. And we'll talk more about probably a 4-H presentation day. We'll probably have some things about camp in there, some different things that are happening. Livestock, YQCA, things like that will be coming on that. And as you know, I send you Zoom links by email before the trainings. I try to give you plenty of time. Occasionally I mess up and don't get that done. But if you have any questions, let me know and I'll get it there. And I do try to keep them to an hour or less. So okay, some upcoming events and activities. Officer training, the virtual officer training went out. It is due January 1st. I will be sending here in probably next week sometime, and first week in December. I can't believe I'm saying that either. But I'll be sending out a list of who all has taken it. I know we've had some takers. I did do new videos and different things for them to watch, and their superhero themes. So hopefully some of our younger kids are enjoying that. I'm sure some of the older kids are rolling their eyes at me, but that's okay. I'm used to it. Livestock judging practices. We do have some people who are taking over livestock judging, and they're going to start some January 6th. Our newsletter is going to come out next Monday, and they'll have a little bit more information about that. But if you're interested in livestock judging practice or judging, and this is for younger kids, they're not, you don't have to know a lot about it. They're starting at beginner level and working their way up. So don't feel like you have to know something about it. But if you're interested in that, be sure and let that know. And more information is on that is in our newsletter that'll be coming out Monday. Okay. And with that, are there any other questions before I end? Or any comments or things you need to talk about? Okay. All right. Well, if not, I hope you know that I'm always here for you. So please let me know if I can help you in any way. And I really do thank you for being that caring adult in our 4-Hers lives. I know you do an awesome job with all the clubs and everything you're doing. Keep up the good work, and I appreciate all you're doing. And I'm here to support you if you need me. So please reach out. I'm here to help. And thank you all, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Carla. Thank you, Carla. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Carla.